Barb.
You like her.
Okay, we'll do that. Whoa.
So you felt like you were Barb.
Yeah, just like, I mean, I don't know, it felt like you were actually addressing my problems as Barb. And not, I mean, our problems.
Your problems.
Sorry.
Right.
Yeah,
But it felt validating, you mean?
Right.
Or it felt,
I think.
okay, okay, okay.
Well, and it felt like there was a greater good being explored. Instead of trying to dig up stuff, it was focusing on positives and what's going well and asking about the feelings of Barb and the feelings of Don and what they saw what they were doing, and then rephrasing it in a way that the other person could see the positives of what the other's decisions or actions were.
Yes,
So,
right. So adding meaning, useful meaning about the way the interaction is going and what the intentions might have been, even if it wasn't, always working that well, but the intention was there and trying to help each other, trying to protect each other, maybe even being overprotective of each other.
Yeah.
Did you hear challenges to the current way you're doing things as well as also support?
Yeah.
Right? How did I challenge you?
well, you basically talked about how she's carrying the grief of two, and maybe to look at that differently, because me trying to protect her wasn't always working. I mean, it was as helpful as also detrimental.
Yeah, your intentions were good, but.
Yeah. Yeah.
That in some ways, as you protect each other, you also are kind of hurting each other. Good, good.
Yeah. It was like even when you were addressing Dawn, I felt like I was included. So.
Yes. Yes. Yes, because you're really never separate. So always, as you were describing things, I pulled in Don's part of it, and while Don was talking, I pulled in your part of it, so that I'm always going in a circle.
Yeah.
So you felt the circle.
Felt the circle.
Felt the circle.
You also brought the girls in a lot,
Yes.
so that was very different.
Nancy and
Like
Grace.
asking if I asked the girls, Nancy and Grace, what they would say, or if they would, just bringing that, because that's obviously a big part of what's going on, but it wasn't really ever addressed. It was more like attacking, like you said before, so this time bringing them into it, because it's a huge part of the system. That just seemed very different, because it softened both of them.
Didn't
in a
it
sense.
soften them?
Yeah, yeah.
Boy, when you bring up kids to the parents, they just, and the reflection they had to give when I asked those questions, they were like, oh, what would Grace say? Oh, what would Nancy say? What is her perspective? They're having to answer that question. And answering that question brings in another piece of the puzzle, another piece to the system that we can now look at. What did you learn about this system because of those other questions? We call those other questions. What did we learn about this family?
We learned who the disciplinarian was.
Yes,
Yeah.
didn't we? Isn't that fascinating? Yes. And we learned
But
that
whip their
Dad.
ass, Dad, when I get home if I need to.
Right, right.
So, I mean,
Yes. Yeah.
because that's the way it was when I grew up, was my dad worked and my mom took time off from teaching while my sister and I were young. And she handled the rules and but I do recall though, we'll wait till your father gets home, and then you knew you were, oh man, you were just hoping he had a meeting or hoping, because, and he didn't hit us or anything, but I think it was just the sheer thought of,
Well, he was stepping out of the normal role,
Yeah.
which is mom deals with the family. And when Dad gets pulled in to deal with the family, things are up.
yeah.
But when they're looking for an objective person, I mean, sometimes you begin to take the person that's with you all the time for granted, too. So, seeking his perspective on things really makes a lot of sense, because they get yours all the time. So we learned that there was some disciplinarian, some roles there. We learned who might be more aligned with dad and who might be more aligned with mom, right? And these things are priceless to know. We can begin to almost draw the family in our mind. And now I'm beginning to know who has support from who might be more challenged. I can ask who of your friends would know this about the two of you? Who would be most surprised to hear that you have been protecting each other all these years? I mean, because those important narratives from your friends can also be helpful in a system's perspective, because that's part of your system. What else did you see? So very good observation about the other questions. I asked Don sometimes, Don, if I were to ask Barb, what would she say? Barb, if I asked Don, what would she say? I'm asking for another perspective. I'm asking him to voice her perspective and her to voice his. And yeah, those are called circular questions.
And you don't feel necessarily under attack that way,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Because when you're speaking for yourself, sometimes you feel like you're on the hot seat. But when you're talking for the other person, sometimes you dig for what you think their point of view really is instead of what you think they should be thinking.
Right.
Too.
So instead of pushing your point of view, it makes you be reflective, more objective, so that you can report it as accurately as you can.
Yeah.
Because you know the person's sitting there, or, yeah. So, part of what happens when you do couples and families work, if you do it in a systemic way, is you provide your couple or whoever's there objectivity. You help them step back and view what's going on step by step. So when this happens, and and then they're able to observe that, and that kind of objectivity gives them room to make changes. Gives them room to go, oh man, I don't know if that really does work. Yeah. What did it feel like for me to say, don't change anything this week? I think you've done enough changing. I'd like to see you do, kind of continue with the successful thing you already did.
It's kind of a relief, I think, for me not to have to try even more things.
Build off what you kind of had some quasi-success with and see if you can make it even more successful than what it already is.
Yep. I think sometimes that counselors work too hard to try to get too many changes too fast. And I don't really understand the system enough to tell them how to change. If I am doing the questioning the way I need to, doing this systemic questioning, circular questioning, they will get the information they need to change.
I was gonna say, by telling them not to change, in a sense, it maybe prompts change, in the sense that they
Right,
do what they're doing,
naturally.
and then it just naturally grows into something bigger,
Yes.
without them even really thinking about the change that's happening, maybe.
Yep. It can be paradoxical to say to them, don't change. They might say to each other, can you believe she told us not to change? Let's not do that, let's
Pay
change.
for her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're like,
You do this
why
at
would
home.
we do that? Why would you do that? So it could kind of work either way, but I was so pleased at the change they had already made, I would rather kind of stay with that. And their solution is worth 10,000 more times than what I could provide them in what to change. My challenge to them was, do think about whether you need to protect each other as